course, Marie will be the first to tell you that she's not 60 yet. She's actually...
I've got 10 days to go.
But she felt that next week there was the All-Ireland finals coming up, and she was there might be other distractions on that day. So she brought it back a week, and as it turns out, she was absolutely right, because her beloved Dubs are in the final. I'd like to thank Father John for his very impressive the Mass and the tribute to Marie in that. It was very the case of how am I going to follow that. You will notice too, Marie has been very involved with Orla, and she goes to Mass there, and she is also very involved in the church, but the position of women in the church is very important to her, and I know that it's very meaningful that for her that the gospel was read not only by a lay person but by her daughter as well. So thank you very much, Father John, for that. So how did this day happen? How come we're all here today? It kind of started back around the time of my birthday in February, and I said to Marie, you have a big day coming up here, and we need to do something about it. And she said, oh no, I don't want no fuss. I don't want any fuss. I think it's kind of a common answer to those who are asked about whether they want a celebration or not. And so I said, listen, you organised something for my birthday, so it's going to look kind of a bit shabby. Why don't do something for yours? So I said, you know what, like, if you don't want to have a large celebration, why don't we have a little party in the house and just invite your close friends and relatives. And she said to me, listen here, if there's going to be a party in the house, who's going to be doing the work? So I said, well, how about caterers? We're getting some caterers, and he said, that's still not good enough. There's an awful lot of work. Even if you have caterers, it's going to involve a lot of work around the house and cleaning and stuff like that. So I offered her a third alternative, but I kind of knew, and those of you who know Marie will appreciate that you kind of know she was going to turn it down. But I said, for just the sake anyways, I said, well, why not have, we'll treat it like a wedding, and we'll go along to a hotel, and we'll organise a big function there. And she said, she didn't answer me actually. I knew that wasn't, that was a non-runner. So we let it lie then, and then for about a week or two afterwards, there was one morning I woke up. Now, Marie tends to wake a little bit earlier than I do, and she's usually sitting up in the bed, and she's on her iPad. And so she woke up, and she said, so when I woke up, she said, I have it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write a book. She has kept, which is very true, she's kept journals, and these journals are very private, like they're really for her own use, and we're kind of under strict threats, like we definitely must not look at her journals. So they're really for herself, and I think it's the way she has of getting through her crisis in life, not only the illness she's going through at the moment, but maybe other difficulties as well that she might have faced, and she found it a useful strategy for dealing with stress. And so she said, well, what I'll do is I'll just look at the journals and I'll convert them into a book. And so it's kind of typical of the woman. So not only did she relieved me of the onerous task of organising her own party, so thank you very much. This journey, what happened then after she decided to do it kind of led us on a journey to places that we'd never been before, and experiences that we'd never experienced and wouldn't have experienced otherwise, and like doing interviews and stuff like that. And Marie herself would say that it kind of brought her out of her comfort zone, but that she loved it and she rose to the occasion. And I know those of you who may have heard her on radio and that, like, would agree with that. She's I hope to get over this, have a quick run on this speech before I but I'll continue on. And Marie is she's a very gentle person, but she's also got a steely determination. I think that, oh yes, I've got to say, one of the most important things that I thought was very uplifting when we were on this journey was the willingness, or the eagerness of those that are close to her and her friends, and that the eagerness to help. We both found it very uplifting and very life-affirming, and we really appreciate that. But as I was saying, Marie's a very gentle person, but she's got that steely determination. And there's always this talk about nurture and nature, like where your character is formed. But I think Marie's, a lot of the times, has to go to her parents. Like I never knew her mother because her mother died when she was just 11 years old, but I believe she was a very nurturing person and a very gentle mother, and I think we see signs of that in Marie as well. But her father, I did meet her father. He was a very impressive man. He was left widowed with 4 young children, the eldest of them being 11. And his mother was in the house as well. She's a blind woman, and so he had 5 people to look after. Now the mother was taken care of by her daughter, Marie's aunt, but he still had 4 young children to mind, and he decided that I'm sure for a farmer and that it would have been very handy for him if after his day's work in the field or in the milking parlour, that there would be a hot dinner for him when he came in from work. But he decided, and it was very foresighted and I think very self-sacrificing, he decided to send both his daughters up to boarding school so that there wouldn't be any temptation to overuse them and to give them a better chance in life. And it was a great mark of the man, and I think I know Marie was very appreciative of that. And of course, he then had to learn how to cook himself, and he was very proud of his cooking. And he also baked a very mean bread, I believe, the homemade bread, which he was extremely proud of as well. And as I say, Marie was very determined as well. She had, and there are loads of examples of this, of determination. And there are loads of examples I could give, but there's one in particular I know that comes to mind, and it was early on, I think about 2005, I think when the illness started, that there was one night when she was finding it difficult with her medicine and that, and about 1:30 in the morning, and she was very ill, and she was sitting on the side of the bed, and she couldn't sleep, and because she was just racked with pain, and she couldn't hold any medicines down, painkillers down, because she was just coming up, and there was nothing, there was no, I tried to comfort her, like I sat in the bed with her, but it was very difficult to comfort her, because even a glass of water she just couldn't take it. So we spent a lot of the night like that. It was a kind of a restless night, and I got some sleep, but Marie got an awful lot less. And the next morning, I went downstairs, I had to go to school, so I got the breakfast and I came up just to say goodbye to her, but when I was getting up, or when I arrived up in the bedroom, there she was, just getting out of bed, and like very slowly getting out of bed, because as I say, she was racked with pain, and you could see it in her. And I said to her, listen, what are you doing? I didn't have any sleep last night, and you need to rest. And when you ever go back to bed, and she just didn't answer me, and she walked very slowly but determinedly to the door, and then down the corridor, and then down the stairs, and then just approaching my call, and then she was quite weak. And got down to the kitchen and didn't just flop down on the sofa in the kitchen. And it just kind of struck me that I don't know if I was in the same situation, like would I have, like I think I'd have stayed in bed, to be quite honest. But years afterwards, and that was it wasn't the night to walk to school then, years afterwards, I said, like, why did you make life so difficult for yourself? You could have made it an awful lot easier. And she said, well, when times were darkest than that, I used to set myself little targets. And it could be a simple target like just getting out of bed, or it could be a target like getting out of bed and going down to the kitchen, or getting out of bed and going down to the kitchen and making myself a cup of tea. And those were little successes, and they helped her an awful lot. Those little successes were good for the spirit, and they give her great encouragement. And she gave me a quote, or she made a quote, she quoted me something she had heard, but I don't know, I checked it out myself. It was one from Teddy Roosevelt, the American president in the early part of the 20th century. But the quote was that you do what you can with what you have where you're at. And I think that she has more than lived up to that motto.
Yeah.
Finally, I think probably Marie's illness. She's been very considerate of all of us, but Marie's illness affects not only herself, but it affects those closest to her. And I know that we probably all have our strategies. We never discussed what do you do when things get tough. And because most of the time that this illness here is very routine. Like for the moment, Marie goes and she has her treatment every Tuesday for 2 weeks, and then she's off a week, and then it's 2 weeks on and 1 week off, and it is very routine, and you kind of get used to that. But then there are some times when you're faced with maybe the results of a scan or something, and you feel that things are darker. And so, as I say, we all have our strategies for dealing with it. But my one is that I go out to the shed, get the hammer and the saw, and I decide, I put up a shelf or something, and I put up shelves in rooms that maybe don't need shelves. But I need to put them up. And she once told us that she expressed the idea, or that she didn't really like carpets in the house, and so so one of those difficult times I decided we put down a wooden floor, and other difficult times another wooden floor will be put down. And at this stage now, there are only 2 rooms in the house that don't have wooden floors, so that every dark cloud is a silver lining. I think I've said enough now, so I just want to say, Marie, happy birthday to you. You really have brought a lot of joy and comfort and inspiration into my life and to the life of your children, and I wish you a very happy birthday, and I'm very proud of you.